Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday service. And Drew's coughing. You all right there, Drew?
That sort of caught me by surprise a little bit.
Yes. You noises.
You know,
Off camera.
I'm used to having a couple of seconds of grace while you mess around and get stuff wrong.
I'm just going to give you a withering look.
Just saying.
Just saying. Anyway,
It
how
wasn't
are you? How are you this week, Drew?
All right. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all. Well,
Yeah,
I bet
excellent.
back earlier this week, as we've just discussed, which was not much fun, but otherwise, okay.
Yep, good, excellent. We've got quite a lot to talk about tonight because obviously there's been the toy fair in Germany, and we're only scratching the surface tonight of some of the military stuff. I think we got a couple of aircraft, but it's mostly military stuff.
It's mostly military, isn't it? This evening,
mostly military. I am hoping
Spielwarenmasse, or however it's pronounced. I will say Spielwarenmasse.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Do we have any Germans?
we've got Tim Maunder will be watching. He's fairly fluent in German, he'll put us right. Don't worry. I was just going to say, we're mainly going to be touching on some of the military stuff tonight. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have Ian Hart up on to talk about all the new car related modelling releases as well. So, yep, we're going for it, mate.
Which is sort of opposite because I've been dealing with mainly military stuff this week on the bench. So.
Excellent. Go on then. Let's see what you've been up to on your bench.
Well, after the Aerocobra, which is like 95% done now, it's 98%. There's just some navigation lights and stuff to do. I looked at my shelf of doom, which hasn't got a lot on it, and got the Meng Chieftain back out, which I'd taken to all the major assemblies together just over it. Oh, there's the engine pack just come off. Look, but that's by design, people. No, it's by design. All right, shut up. So yeah, and basically this week I've been spending the week sort of getting the turret all together. So this is the Meng Mark 10, which is one of the final variants with the Stillbrew armor, but with the infrared and normal searchlight system. So still little bits to come off. So there's the windows, which are the vision ports are being painted at the moment to be masked off, ready for painting. And then you end up doing the bins, which are
oh good lord.
Yeah, I would say it's not the most fun you can have. But to Meng's credit, it does all go together pretty nicely. So you kind of, there's about a half a dozen plastic parts to the bin, and then about another 6 or 7 etched mesh parts. You can see I've added a little bits of detail on top here because I had to remove that sanding it. But the thing is, this is the kind of thing that once you get that in place, he says, go and get in place, it'll kind of hold on its own. Look. So the good bit is I can paint that separately and pop it on at the end. So you've got 2 of these. You've got a bin on each side. This is pretty much a similar thing. Look, it's half a dozen plastic parts, 5 or 6, 4 or 5 etched parts. So yeah, I mean the fit of it all is pretty, pretty super overall. So yeah, I did, and while I was dealing with that, so I mean I've dealt with stuff like this, the main gun and stuff back when I was originally doing it a year or so ago. And I took the opportunity to sort of drag so this is the Tacom, Mark 11, which I built when that was released back in 2016, 2017. So it's of course quite old now. But I took the chance to dig this out of storage to compare it. And I have to say, I still think they are both fantastic models. The Meng has got a few benefits in terms of detail levels and stuff, but as you can see, I think we can agree that the Tacom one looks the part as well. So that's the Tacom one being a Mark 11, which has got the first generation thermal sight, which made it more or less the most advanced targeting system in Europe when it was introduced in the 70s.
It's such a fabulous color scheme, that, isn't it?
It's a fabulous vehicle. Yep. It really is. Whatever you want to say about the Chieftain, it had presence.
Yep.
And all of our sort of armored vehicles of the last 60, 70 years have had presence. The Challenger, the Challenger 2, they've all got tremendous amount of presence, haven't they? And it just looks like a great, it's just a great looking vehicle. So yeah, so I'm hoping to get that sort of continue with this over the course of this week. Current plans are for a Berlin Brigade scheme.
Nice.
Which is why I'm keeping stuff sort of in bits, so it's going to be hopefully a little bit easier to paint, because it's really quite a challenging scheme, that Berlin Brigade scheme. But yeah, that's I'm sort of feel like I'm entering a bit of an armor phase for a month or two, I think. Sort of partially on the back of what we've seen this week and stuff like that. So, yes, that's where I am at the moment. That's a shelf of Duma that's been dragged back out, and we'll hopefully get that through to paint this week sometime. So,
well, I have been messing around with just goes to call up the little Airfix 1/43 scale easy build Land Rover, and this is where I've got to at the moment. This color scheme is based on one that I've seen a number of times around here, which is painted in a beautiful kind of like pale blue color. Every time I've seen it, I've thought to myself, that Land Rover looks like it's painted in RLM 65. So guess what I used for the RLM 78. So I used RLM 78 for the color scheme. But absolutely fabulous little kit. I will qualify this by saying I didn't work on this one at all. I didn't do any artwork on it. So I've come to this absolutely fresh, and oh my goodness me, these 43rd scale kits are such tremendous fun. So I might be making a couple more in the next whenever. This one is going to be a very well used vehicle. It's almost going to be like a nod to your brother Rory. So there will be kind of like partially painted panels, and also rust streaks and mud and dirt and everything. So I'm treating it almost like a military vehicle, which is essentially what it is.
And a very large Union flag flying from the back.
Well, we'll see what we can do in that. But yeah, tremendous fun. I really have had a blast with that.
Actually, quite a nice little size, isn't it? It's actually
you'd think 1/43 would be kind of like tiny, but actually, when you think about it, it's actually a smidge bigger than 48, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I quite like it. I think that's quite a nice little that's a nice little size.
Yep, and obviously 43rd is the collector's scale for cars.
I mean, we had this scale discussion last week, didn't we? And it's just one of those. It's one of those standard scales for cars, isn't it? So
so there we go. It's currently in like I say, it's currently in RLM 78. And the other thing I did today is I got this out, which I started 2 years ago. I was trying to work out today, why did I stop working on it? Then I started working on it and remembered why I stopped working on it. Because look, Drew, I love Mini Art. I think they do fabulous stuff. But some of their kits are so finicky. So you can see that I got most of the I got most of the photo etch onto the flatbed section, and we've started doing some work in the in the cab. We got the engine together. Oh my goodness me! And also, so I'm just reaching over to grab some other bits and pieces. What have I done with the? I got most of the transmission done as well. No, I've managed to misplace some bits and pieces. So there's a news story. Goodness me, that's the. Oh no, there it is. There, that's what I was looking for. So yeah, so I will get round to finishing this.
I think the problem is, if you're anything like me, John, is that when something is that complicated,
yeah,
it's easy to kind of just run out of oomph with it.
Yep.
It can, it can end up feeling, and there was a little bit of that with this Chieftain, if I'm honest. It's a very, very highly broken down model. And you can find yourself just feeling like you're spending a week and getting nowhere. It can eventually just take all your enthusiasm away. And then, look, I picked this up after a year this week, and suddenly I'm all enthusiastic about it.
Yep.
Because before I ran out of enthusiasm a year ago, I'd actually broken the back of the build.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. I'd kind of broken the back of all the major assembly jobs. And now it was just a case of adding all the details. But I risked making a mess of it for running out of enthusiasm, so I put it to one side.
I'm just gonna change cameras for a second, going back to the workbench camera, because we're going to talk tonight about Tamiya. Why we tend to have a preference for Tamiya. If there's a competing kits or whatnot. Mini Art give you a sprue tree, a sprue diagram rather, which is absolutely brilliant, very, very helpful. But the one thing they don't do, which is something Tamiya always do, is they don't tell you which bits you don't need. And there are a lot of bits in this kit that you don't need. So I'm kind of like working my way through it, and I'm thinking to myself, how much further have I got to go with this? Because I keep seeing things on the sprue, and then I'm rushing through the instructions to try and make sure that it's germane to what I'm building at the moment. And I'll give you a good example. This is on sprue CD, and it's part number 1 here. I've gone through those instructions about a couple of dozen times just to see whether I need to hang on to part CD1, or whether I can snip it off and put it in the spares box. So as we say, we absolutely adore we adore model.
Mini
get
Art.
your teeth in, man. Mini Art. It's almost like about brain surgery. We absolutely adore. Token reference for tonight, Drew. There we go. We absolutely adore Mini Art, but oh my goodness me, they can drive you absolutely nuts sometimes. They really can. Got a question here from Jim, who says, question, how much cleanup is required for the kit parts, JM? Not a great deal, Jim, but the one thing I will say is that so many of the kit parts in that tempo are so small that they are really tricky to try and clean up sometime,
it's just I mean, quite often it's like with this Chieftain, I've ended up designing, or I'm in the middle of designing a second set because the first set weren't right, 3D printed exhausts for it. Because it's going to be quicker and easier to do that and print them out than it is to join 2 halves, let it dry, and then sand that join out and try and get a circular exhaust.
Yep.
It's just quicker, quite often with these complex shapes, it's easier to just design and print your own and get it out in one part.
I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just going to zoom in on one of the bits for the kit for this is the wing mirrors in the mini art kit. They give you some. Let me just show you the instruction. There we go. There's the wing mirror, but these parts B9, you sunk my battleship. They are so small and they are so fine. I can't remember if I've not binned them, but you know what I mean. I think I was so exasperated with them that I chucked them back in the box and ended up making my own. Here we go. Oh my goodness me. Like I say, you have to admire the fact that mini art are able to mold things that are that fine, but look at that. And you are trying to clean up a fairly hefty...
Got to cut that out and then clean it up and
clean up the sprue, scar, tag, everything. It just got to the stage today where I'd already broken one. I thought, well, there's no way we're going to repair that, so I just got the wire out and then just made the the little thing out of wire. So again, it's not a criticism of mini art. It's that they do produce absolutely gorgeous kits, but they can sometimes really kind of go to town a little bit too much. Which is why their Stuarts. I'm really looking forward to building one of their Stuarts, but apparently there's about 1 million pieces that go into the interior, and it's just like, really.
Yeah, I must admit, I do shudder a little bit every time I see something marketed as an interior kit. I'm just like, no, I want to get onto painting.
Yeah.
I want to get onto painting. So,
James Ray makes a very good point. He says, worth mentioning, stating the obvious, mini art do subjects the more mainstream manufacturers won't touch.
Which is why we love them.
We love them. We
love them, isn't it?
Absolutely love them. Anyway, new stuff. Shall we dive in?
We never cover what people have had this week, do we? You see?
Sorry, say again.
You never ask what I bought this week. You don't care, do you?
Sorry, the concept of going out and buying models is so alien to me, he said, trying to wind you up. Go on then, Drew. What have you been out and bought this week?
Well,
here we go.
No, it's nothing too shocking, actually. So, this is a little 70-second scale ICM OV10D Plus Bronco, which is obviously the brother to the OV10A that was released last year. So this is their 72nd one to go with the 48th one. And just like the 48th one, I love the packaging. Look, it's strong, it's sturdy. Dear Ravel, blah blah blah.
Yes.
So yeah, this is it's largely, I would say, it's largely identical in breakdown and stuff to the 48th one. I'm not going to get it out of the bags because it's it'll just get bits everywhere. But yeah, all the relevant upgrades for the OV10D are there. I've actually been doing a little bit of research into doing the NOGS variant, which was the prototype of the OV10D, the one in the greys. Remember Airfix did it?
Mm-hmm.
In the grey scheme. So I've been looking at various websites this week with a view to sort of modifying it to that with the centerline cannon and stuff like that. But yeah, that's been coming for a while, so I thought I'd better get one of those when it came out. And the only other thing was Academy have reboxed and re-released their K2 as the Polish Land Forces variant, because they've started receiving these in the last year or so, and are getting many hundreds of them. Unlike the British Army, but that's a political thing. We won't get into that.
Let it go.
Hey,
let it go.
No. Poland taking her defence seriously. Let's put it that way. But the thing was, I've been looking at getting one of these in the original boxing for quite a while, but it's like 55, 60 quid to pick the original boxing up. This thing gets released with Polish Land Forces markings. It's 32 quid.
Blimey.
It's just, and it's it's typical modern Academy, and it's really, really nice. The only thing I was surprised at was that it's
rubber bands,
rubber band tracks, which you don't tend to see very much these days, do you? I mean, I have to say that they're really pretty nicely done. But I'm looking at the tread pattern, and I'm wondering if they're not deal. I don't know if they're sort of based on the Abrams track or what. But yeah, it was that was quite surprising to me. But yeah, it's very nice, and obviously with the Polish Land Forces getting hundreds and hundreds of these in due course, and it's a good-looking vehicle as well. So yeah, so that was but that was it this week. That was the only sort of brand new things I got this week. Because some of us still support the industry by buying.
Oh, for goodness sake! I support the industry by slaving away getting artwork done, laddie. So, oh, I'm so glad you're at the other end of Somerset. I really am. So, anyway, on that note, shall we dive in with the news? And obviously, it's the big toy fair in Germany, and pow, Tamiya, Leopard 2 A7V.
Yes, yeah. It's I don't know how much this is based on the original kit or if it's entirely new. Because I mean, I suspect the lower hull and running gear will be common. It's just the upper hull is all new, and all the dressing on the turret, shall we say, will be all new. So yeah, it's a Leopard 2, so I'm on board immediately, aren't I? We know my I'm a Leopard fan, always have been. So I'm never far away from building a Leopard 2. It doesn't seem to me when I choose armor. So I mean, Meng have done a Leopard 2 A7 Plus. So I'm not sure what the difference. There's so many Leopard variants. Each country has a bespoke Leopard variant, and the Germans have gone from the 2A nothing to now we're looking at in the next few years the 2A8, which has again got a completely new turret again on the Leopard. But this, looking at this at the show, you just know with Tamiya it's probably not going to be as exquisitely detailed in terms of separate parts as some of the other manufacturers that are available. That's really nice though. But what it is going to be is close enough and really, really buildable. I built the Tamiya Leopard 2 numerous times, and it's such a straightforward build. It just it flies together. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of, oh no, it's another Leopard 2. They're a bit like F-16s or something, Oh, it's another Leopard 2. But as far as I'm concerned, people can try. People can produce Leopard 2s all day long, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll be in the market for it. So yeah, we can expect a quick, simple build. I want one as soon as I can get my hands on one.
I get the distinct feeling you might be making one or two.
Well, I will certainly be making one, at least for myself. So
no, we will. I am sure the call will come. It won't be for the fire escape trade, but I'm sure the call will come that pop up to town and make a Leopard 2 A7V. So there we go.
It's a nice camouflage to airbrush.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, and I just think the Leopard 2 is a great looking vehicle.
Absolutely,
it is.
Absolutely.
So yes, please, I'm on board. Get me as soon as possible.
We'll see what we can do. Also new from Tamiya is this K6 Zundap K600 motorcycle and sidecar. This is Tamiya kind of slightly revisiting their past in some respects, because they did a oh goodness me, let me call up my notes here for a second. Always a help if I do that. They did a Zundap KS600 in an almost kind of almost an identical set, in that you got the motorcycle and the sidecar, and you had a walking figure with it. I think there were a couple of walking figures in the original, but this one they give you some signage as well, which is a rather nice touch. But this again, it's going to be one of those things that for Tamiya, here we go. That was what I was looking for. Sorry, that's the BMW R7.
Is this all new?
Sorry,
is this 100% new?
Yeah, 100% new. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't. With what they've sort of announced that at the show this week, I'm kind of like with the Leopard. I don't know if it's 100% new or if it's kind of, because to me, I have a long and storied history of sort of upgrading older kits, don't they?
Yeah. Now, as far as I know, the K600. I'm sure somebody on the comments will put us right, but as far as I know, this K600 is all new. And figures look absolutely fabulous as well. So yeah, I'm especially looking forward to hopefully building one of these at some stage. Also in the license to print money department, Tamiya are bringing us a new German machine gun team, which no brainer for them, isn't it?
So that's an MG42, isn't it? Not an MG34. So.
Where who said it's an MG?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, just but based on looking at it,
yeah.
I think that's a MG42, which is it's an incredible weapon. The MG34 and the MG42 are incredible weapons. In fact, it's really only recently been retired from German service because they just rebarreled it. For 7.62 and call it the MG3, and it's all many years of service, and is like I say, it's an incredible weapon. But yeah, that's a really nice looking collection, isn't it? I'd like to see our own Mr. Pollard paint
I get the funny feeling this might end up wandering across his workbench.
Yeah, I think Travis said, MG34 and 42. I was looking at the other one and going, oh, is that a 34? Because it's got the perforated barrel rather than the enclosed barrel. So, yes, that looks like, and the quality we're getting from injection molded figures these days is just looking at the folds and stuff on the uniforms of those, how deep they are and stuff like that. Look, I mean, if you look at the right arm of that guy slinging the rifle over his shoulder, look at the textures on that fabric. It's phenomenal.
No, absolutely. The only downside is I absolutely suck at painting figures, but it's one of those things that I'm determined to stick at it and try and improve my figure painting horrors this year at some stage. So anyway,
I'm just so awful at it. I just, however much I try, I just, it just. Although I kind of sometimes I suspect, as with a lot of these things, we're our own worst critics, aren't we? Yeah. It's kind of like very often somebody else looking at your work goes, "That's awesome," and you're looking at it, and all you can see is the faults. All you can see is what's wrong with it. I mean, Pavo. I know the actual infantry are replacing it with a with a new weapon, but I mean, it's still in widespread service, but it is being replaced. Certainly, at infantry at platoon level with a new MG now. But yeah, it's still obviously in widespread service all over the place, and will be for many years. But yeah. Next,
shall we dive on? And I use the word dive in a very kind of like literal sense, because sword. are doing a 48 scale Gannett AEW3. Now, obviously, this comes hot on the heels of the Airfix AS anti-submarine version. Drew, is this kit likely to be something that's going to interest you?
Yes,
I think we'll take that as a yes.
I think the Airfix AS Scannet looks amazing. And I suspect it will be a nicer model than the Sword kit, which isn't a slight on Sword. It's just that Airfix are pretty much at the top of their game right now. That said, this is the variant that interests me. So yes, I will have. I will have money waiting for one of these because the 72nd scale one they did is actually pretty nice as well. A little bit older in technology, but yeah, this yes, please. This is the one I'm interested in.
I think a lot of people will be asking the question: what's the difference between the anti-submarine version and the AEW version?
Well, pretty much everything inboard of the first wingfold.
Yep. I was going to say to use that old cliche: jack up windscreen and insert new aircraft.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the fuselage is completely new. The tail is completely new. The tailplanes are the same. I always thought it had different finlets on the tailplanes, but apparently not. And the inner wing sections are all new on the AEW Gannett. They've got a is it a straighter or a more angled? It's a straighter leading edge, isn't it? So yeah, it was a very different Gannett. All round, and it would have been, if Airfix had asked me which variant I wanted, I would have said the AEW3. But I understand why they did the AS. However, getting from an AS to an AEW is a serious undertaking. So Airfix aren't going to do an AEW. I would be incredibly surprised. Dave said the tailplane's slightly different too. How so, Dave? Tell us. You can't just tell us, say slightly different too. We need detail, man. That's like,
come on, Agent Fleming.
I always, for some reason, I always thought that it had more squared off finlets on the tailplanes, but apparently not. I don't know where I got that from, but yes, it's I'm on board. I want one.
Yep.
I want one.
Right. Next, we will come back to Gannett talk. We will be fishing for more Gannett talk later. I'm just going to keep doing these. I know. 1/16 scale, Drew. Now, I've noticed I think we've all noticed it's become a bit of a phenomena in the last few years. Very few subjects have come up where I've seen them and I thought, I've definitely got to get on board with this 1/16 scale malarkey. 2 kits announced this week that might change my mind a little bit. Gecko are doing a universal or Bren carrier in 1/16 scale. Oh my goodness me. Talk about Damascus conversion, because if there is something that may swing the lead for me, it's going to be this. I've got a couple of the Tamiya kits that I'm hoping to build this year at some stage. But I've always liked the Bren carrier. It's just such a tidy little machine, isn't it? And even at 1/16 scale, these aren't going to be, ginormous.
It's going to be 35th scale Sherman sized, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be huge. I like that. I like the look of that. Oh, I don't like the look of that, but there we go.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'll learn to love it if I.
I mean, for me, I don't mind. I don't mind single link track. If it's done like Tamiya did with their Mark IV, where it doesn't require any input from the modeler whatsoever. It's just clean up. You just click it all together and away you go. You know, it's why, you know, so many tanks put me off, because of the idea of, you know, 4 or 5 parts to each link. And having to clean them up and join them together. It's just, you know, it's an insane amount of work, isn't it? But no, it looks great. It looks great. It's
funny you mentioned that.
Very well for them. You know, I mean, for me, I will really get interested in 16th scale when somebody decides they're going to do a Scorpion or Scimitar. Then we can talk.
Right. Okay. Well, I was going to say, we've got a 1/16. We're going to talk about another 1/16 scale kit in a moment, which there's no track building on it whatsoever. Anyway, this more tanks, but this, I think, is right up your Strasse, isn't it?
Yes, yes. This is what happens when you take an Ascod to a Hull and make it work. Looking at you, British Army. Yeah, it's the new sort of light tank for the US forces. I think they're planning to get about 500 of them. It's not a main battle tank. It's a support vehicle. That's not one, John.
Isn't it? Oh, right. That's right. No. That's the. Bear with me a second. I pulled that off of Wikipedia, and it says that's the Ascod. That's one of
the Ascod variants.
Yeah, so that's one of the original ones from which the American M10 is actually developed from.
Yes, so, and you know, it's a family of vehicles that Austria and Spain developed. Britain's Ajax and stuff is based on that, but they've made a right mess of it. And the Booker is also based on that basic hull design, or that basic vehicle design, but is actually just about ready to. I think next year it's supposed to properly enter service. But this is more of a sort of infantry support vehicle kind of thing. You know, it's certainly not a main battle tank with the 105mm gun. And just a really interesting, sort of the same concept as the M551 Sheridan was.
Yeah,
you know, that kind of support vehicle. I'm presuming it's got thermal sights and all the rest of it for proper you know, combat. So there's a sighting unit on top there, but yeah, it's a small, agile, not main battle tank.
Do you know what it looks like to me? It looks like a Scorpion on steroids.
Yeah, pretty. You know, it's going to be used for reconnaissance and infantry support. You know, I mean, you look at the all-terrain vehicle in the background, and you can see that it's not a huge vehicle.
No, that's also I think that's Magic Factory also plugging another kit that they do. So incidentally, I've forgotten to do this tonight. I'll do it at the end of the show. I've got all the web links for these things. So but yeah, I would imagine somewhere down the line that one of these M10s is going to be marching its way across your workbench, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I'm on board. I want one. It's I do like really modern vehicles. I mean, I've got the KF-51 Panther to build in the near future, hopefully, and stuff like that. But I'm still gonna make my case for. I wish somebody would get to grips with like early 80s Abrams and Bradleys and things like that, and you know, earlier Leopard variants. You know,
you can go and find out more, folks, if you dash over to www.magicfactory.limited. Similarly, if you go over to Tamiya.com, they've got details of all those new releases we just mentioned, and also sword.cz. To find out more about the Gannet. They've got quite a piece in there, and also www.gecko-models.com if you want to find out more about the goodness me, brain
universal
freeze,
carrier,
the universal carrier. I know. Oh, we'll get there in the end, folks. Anyway, right.
It's been quite a busy week, hasn't it? In terms of because of
week. There's only a certain amount of information I can retain up here, quite frankly. Right. Another new 1/16 scale kit. Now, I think, Drew, this might be something that you might jump ship and build. I don't know. I'm taking a guess here. Oh my goodness me!
I do like. I mean, I've always liked the Puma. I think it's a great looking vehicle, and it's got a lineage straight to sort of more recent stuff as well, hasn't it?
Well, you and I probably first discovered the Puma back in ye oldie days when the greatest kit company ever produced their 1/76 scale kit.
Oh dear, look at that! Oh, memories.
Fabulous little model that is. But yeah, there we go.
That's the same vehicle as well. That's the same vehicle. Go back.
It is. It's number 11. Good Lord.
11.
That's a nice.
Great. That's great.
But this is Das Werk working in cooperation with Tacom, and yeah, if there was some, a bit like the Bren carrier, if there was going to be something that was going to make me want to build something in 1/16 scale, it would be this. Now, it does come with apparently a detailed working suspension, but they also include a more basic suspension for it as well. Oops-a-daisy, wrong one. What a fabulous looking vehicle, though, isn't it? It's just utterly glorious.
If I was ever to build something in 16th scale, it would be something like that.
I would. This is why I kind of flagged it up on the show tonight, because again, it's not going to be massive, is it?
Quite long, isn't it? It's quite long, but it's not bulky. So.
No. And there's that's an actual shot of the test moldings, which they look really quite sharp, don't they? 4 color schemes in
turret, isn't it?
Sorry,
like a mini Panther turret.
Yes, yeah, like a Panther 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 color schemes in the kit. So you've got one with winter whitewash all over it, a rather plain one in Sandgal, which I've got to say, out of all the schemes, that's the one that really intrigues me. I think it's the challenge of building a model in a single color, but making it look interesting. The Matchbox one, obviously, hurrah. And
that's the one for me.
Yeah, another one in camo. And,
like that.
Oh no, we've already done that one. Already done that one.
Well, there's going to be plenty of options if you look around and do your research, as they say.
Research? What's that?
I don't know. It's a room.
Locks makes a good point. Put plenty of stowage on the back. Absolutely. It's his main comment was, "Oh my lord!" There we go. I'm just having a quick read at the. Just seeing if there's any more comments on the come on, brain. On the goodness me, come on, Drew, help me out.
I don't know. I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Drew, Dave was going to look up something on the. What do you do on Sunday night? We watched the confused man from Dudley literally being confused live on air. The M10 Booker. He was going to look something up on the M10 Booker. Anyway, yeah, we were. God, that was an absolute monster brain freeze there. This is one of the things, is they do occasionally come along and absolutely sideswipe me, but hey ho. Also in that Puma kit, you are going to get a fabulous figure as well. He's having a crafty fag, naughty boy, but this looks like it's been 3D scanned as well.
Nice.
what I especially like is a daft little detail, but it's the studs on the bottom of the boot.
Yeah.
That's a really nice touch. So there we go. That is Das Werk with Tacom, and it does include the commander figure as well. So I don't know, Drew. Like I say, 1/16 scale doesn't really. I've been a passive observer up until this point.
I mean, like I say, I mean, if I was going to, get sucked into the world of 1/16, it would be a subject like that. But I think I'm still good. I'm still
okay.
I'm still good enough to resist.
Yeah. Resistance is futile, but you know what they say. Right, moving on. This again is probably going to be something that is going to interest you. I know it certainly interested Spence because he bought a set, and this is Minicraft, no relation to Academy Minicraft, but this is a set of engine and it's an engine detail upgrade and correction set, including fan blades, intake and nozzles, designed to be used with the Academy kits. That's something that interests you, Drew?
Well, I mean, I've already got unlimited supplies of our very own mics. So it does. It's been interesting to watch how many people have released these engine sets for the Academy kit, and how different the execution's been on them all. And this looks, like another superb set. I love the riveting around the exhaust, the hot section exhaust there. And I love the protection as well. The protection around the parts is superb, isn't it? That's really great. That really nicely protects them as they're being delivered, and especially the fans. The fans look amazing. Because if you that's a part that is incredibly fragile, so it needs to be properly protected, or there's going to be problems. So I mean, the engine pod, stroke intakes and exhausts are a pretty obvious weak point of the otherwise very, very nice Academy kit. So this is something that really, benefits from using any one of the multitudes of engine sets that have been done for it. Because I'm, Phase Hanger have done it. I think Res Kit have done it. MCC have done it. There's another one or two on the market at least. But my main takeaway from this, what I really love about that, is the way the parts have been protected. The cages that are protecting them. And how far 3D printing's come the last couple of years.
I'm going to say, I know we said this the other week, is it's really kind of revolutionizing aspects of this hobby, isn't it? It's the idea of somebody actually kind of hand creating masters and casting them in resin. That's a thing of the past now, isn't it?
It's rapidly fading away. Yeah, it's rapidly fading away as we're finding, as printers get better and are capable of producing more complex shapes reliably, shall we say? And support technology improves as well for how you're supporting these parts as they print. As that sort of technology improves, you're getting more and more detail. I've seen some of the undercarriage legs that are being done now with all the piping in place, all that. It's mind-boggling, But that is very, very high-end printers being used for a lot of that, not the consumer grade like I have in the other room, which is still good, really, really good. But I think these sort of that Minicraft company stuff, to me, looks like it's been done on a very, very high-end, multiple thousands of dollars printer. Sort of, the I can't remember the name of them now, but you're looking at sort of those printers start at like $4,000-5,000 a copy and go up to sort of up into the tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, it's Form. There you go, Mike. Thank you, Formlabs. Yeah. And but having said that, the stuff that Formlabs was doing 5 years ago is now done on a £200 printer at home. So You know, it's just that Formlabs have had to, you know, increase their quality to do it. So there you go. But yeah, it looks great. It's fabulous, and everything about the packaging of that I love, because it comes in a little tin, like lozenge box, doesn't it? It's a little tin box. It comes in all protected. It's like a presentation set almost.
I will say that the price for that set is kind of like it's around the £24 mark. So you are paying for quality. Let's put it that way. You're paying for somebody.
You absolutely are. But I think, to be fair, I think that's in the ballpark of what all the others are. So you know,
and you get tin as well. So
and you get it, and it comes in a presentation tin. With but the actual protection of the parts themselves just blows my mind. It's just superb. So
let's charge on. It would be remiss of us not to talk about a new release from Miniart. So let's talk about a new release from Miniart, and this is a very good example of how they can bring different variants out of their core kits.
Oh lordy. See what I did?
Well, exactly. Holy smoke. So let's get all the jokes out now, Drew. This is essentially, it's a Chevrolet G7 117, of which some were supplied to the British Army. They were used by units in North Africa.
Don't just stop you, John. This is ICM, not Miniart.
Oh, sorry, ICM. Sorry. Goodness me. This the clue. The clue is up there on the right-hand corner, isn't it? I know.
Thanks, Tim.
I know. Goodness me, brain fade live on air. So there we go. They're also doing a figure set to go with it, which is utter genius. Again, you're gonna have to get your figure painting skills out to especially do things like the surplus as well. But there's a photograph of one actually out in the field. Doesn't it just looks brilliant, doesn't it?
It's ripe for a whole host of dioramas, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And also they do give you an interior. Not only do you give you an interior, but they also give you the altar with all the paraphernalia, and a little organ as well, with a chair.
Harmonium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has got to be one of the most original plastic kit releases in the last goodness knows how many years. And I am completely on board with this. I'm like I say, I just think this as a modeling subject is so unusual. But yep, sign me up. I'm gonna grab me one of them when I see one. So when I'm out and about, and if I'm out and about at Froome or Jadlam or Antics or wherever,
and it's ICM, so it's pretty much quality guaranteed these days, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. Final one for tonight, and this is rather unusual. Interesting one. This is a company called the Train Girl, and I will remember to bring up the banner for it. It is thetraingirl.com.au, and she does these absolutely brilliant model railway bits and pieces. But this, I can see this actually kind of being adapted by other people, because these are essentially what they're supposed to replicate are painted signs on walls that have started to fade down the years. And she's done a couple of sets. There's the other one as well, which includes, sorry, that's the back of the pack. Let me just check. Yeah, it is the back of the pack. But yeah, you get these painted posters with this brick effect on it. Like I say, Drew, I can see other companies gearing up to do ones which will be of more use to military modelers in 130.
Oh, it's another one of those great ideas that make you go, why didn't somebody think of this before?
Yep.
No, it's a great idea. It's a great
like
idea.
I say, these are HO, so these are railway scale, but yep, I just think this is absolute genius, and we will try and actually get her on the show at some stage, because I've been over to the website, and she does quite a few videos as well, and it's absolutely brilliant to see somebody kind of doing something really quite different. So watch this space, folks. We'll see what we can do. But he says reaching over to grab. That's pretty much all the news for this week for some of the military stuff. I know we've missed out some other bits and pieces, but unfortunately we could end up doing a live stream that would go on for hours and hours.
That was an entirely news-based show. That doesn't happen very often anymore, does it?
Show. Drew,
very often.
Any other business?
Not from me, no. I don't think. No. I am waiting for the Dora Wings Ferry Delta to turn up.
Yep. You've been mixing colours, haven't you?
I have been. I have been working on the. There's still sort of like some discussion over what the actual colour is, but I think I've got. I think I'm. Let's have a look. I think I'm somewhere close. I'll get there for that's 774, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's 774, and I've got plans. I ordered 2 of them, and now we just have to look. All hold hands and concentrate on Dora Wings and say BAC 221, please.
Again, it's one of those kits that I'm going to wait until I'm out and about somewhere, and I'm going to grab one from one of our friendly retailers. So.
Yeah, but it would be, props to everybody who's got theirs already. Has said it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm looking forward to, that's one that I'm looking forward to clearing the bench for to get on with very, very, almost immediately. And like I say, if Dora Wings are going down this route, hopefully they'll do a BAC 221 to follow. So then we can all pile out to the Fleet Aero Museum, like 4 miles away from me, and spend a happy day photographing it to death.
It's a very bold choice for them, because everything else they've done you can see that it's got a commercial a commercial.
Having said that, what was Dora Wings' very first kit?
Oh, I don't.
It was a Gloucester Whittle. It was a Gloucester Whittle.
That's true. Yeah.
So there was they have got form.
Yeah,
they got form for this, haven't they?
They've got form.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to those turning up, and certainly we'll be building one in the very near future. We'll hopefully more next week.
Yeah, absolutely
hopefully more next week.
John Huston wins the prize this week.
Right, John. Rob Monfils just said clear prop. That was clear prop.
That kit will have mass appeal. Very good, John. Very good. Sorry, all I'm thinking of now is Father Ted, and it's like, so that's it. Have another mass. And if you honestly, folks, if you never watched Father Ted, goodness me, where have you been for the last nearly 30 years? I'm just gonna a personal thing for me is that this week, me and my friend Alan, aka Reg, we go out for a walk every week, and this week we actually busted through the 10-mile barrier, which was quite something, because we kept saying we would do a 10-miler at some stage, but we did the 10-miler last week. On almost a year to the day that I actually conked out doing a simple, after about a mile walking, is I just couldn't go on any further, and Al had to go and get the car. He snuck this pic of me, and I'm glad he did, because it just tells the story of what, you know, of how poorly I was this time last year. And like I say, a year later, there we are. We've done a 10 miler, and I felt absolutely fine afterwards. Didn't feel at all
You're a bit
tired.
like Dame Edna Everage there with those glasses.
Who's that?
You. In that picture.
No, they're my dark glasses. So it was a bright day, but it was a good walk. And
Hello, darlings.
Anyway, on that note,
hello,
I'm just going to say thank you, Drew, for joining us tonight, for coming on tonight. Hopefully I'm going to get some more modeling done this week, and get a couple of walks in as well. So, and also crack on with some work OVs. So that's it for now. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to give you all the usual shout out, but Dave says you need some 1/35th scale cows for the Father Ted version. Absolutely, Dave.
Or you need some 16th scale cows and just put them further away.
That somebody did that. Did you see that this week? Somebody actually did that. Anyway, on that note, just remains to say thank you for watching. Everybody out there, be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Fingers crossed, we'll see you in a week's time. So thank you for joining us tonight. Goodbye.